The days had started to blend together, each one a gentle, predictable rhythm. Morning sunlight would spill over the garage, stretching across the garden like a blessing. The air always carried that scent of damp soil and fresh grass. It was right there, beside the garage, where life felt simple again. The table and chair, carved from chopped logs, stood firm, rough, imperfect, honest. They had become silent witnesses to laughter, to silence, to my own quiet healing. Every morning after breakfast, the three of us would step into that small world. Lucky, my dog, would burst forward first, his cream-colored fur glowing under the sun. His paws would kick up tiny specks of earth as if he were racing against joy itself. He was young, unstoppable, full of a hope that hadn't yet learned disappointment. Frosty, my cat, followed differently. She never rushed. Her white fur shimmered as she'd lower herself onto the grass, her large blue eyes half closed, just soaking in the morning sun. There was something almost royal about her stillness. She didn't chase the world. She allowed the world to come to her. Lucky would circle her, barking softly, his tail wagging with reckless optimism. He'd leap, tumble, and paw gently at her tail, convinced that persistence was the purest form of affection. Frosty tolerated him, but only to a point. When he crossed that invisible line, her paw would strike swiftly, not cruelly, just enough to remind him that joy must respect space. Lucky would recoil for a moment, then return with even greater enthusiasm. And I would just sit there on that log chair, watching them, watching innocence unfold, watching companionship take shape. For months, that garden had been my refuge. It had been 2 years since my wife left to care for her ill parents. 2 long years of phone calls, of updates, of strength spoken through screens. 2 years of remembering how she loved the morning sun, just like Frosty. That morning felt no different from any other, until it did. Lucky was mid-run when he suddenly froze. No bark, no playful leap, just complete stillness. His body was rigid, and a low, unfamiliar growl rumbled in his chest. His gaze was fixed somewhere behind me. I felt it before I understood it, that quiet shift in the air. I turned around slowly. The world narrowed, the garden blurred, and then I saw her, standing on the grass, bathed in the morning light, smiling. 2 years had etched strength into her face, but hadn't taken away its softness. Her eyes carried the same warmth that once filled our home. She stood there, not as a memory, not as a voice on a phone, but as a living, breathing miracle in the very garden that had held my loneliness. My heart didn't just beat, it trembled. Lucky's growl dissolved into confused tail wags. Frosty rose slowly, her blue eyes wide, sensing that something sacred was happening. I stood up, the log chair scraping softly against the ground. For a moment, neither of us moved. 2 years of distance, sacrifice, and duty hung in the space between us. She had done what was right. She had honored her parents, and now she was here, in our garden, in our morning, in our light. Lucky broke the silence. He ran to her, his tail a blur, circling her legs as if to confirm she was real. She knelt down, and her laughter spilled out like music I hadn't heard in far too long. Frosty approached cautiously, brushing against her hand with quiet acceptance. Then her eyes met mine again, and everything else faded away. The distance, the waiting, the quiet dinners, the empty side of the bed, all of it dissolved in the sunlight. I stepped forward. The grass felt softer beneath my feet. The world felt steadier. She didn't say anything, she didn't need to. Her smile carried apology, gratitude, love, and promise all at once. I reached her, and in that garden under a morning sky that had seen me alone for too long, time finally stopped running. The days had passed so quickly before, but this moment didn't pass. It stayed, because sometimes life gives you back what you've been waiting for. And when it does, you stand in the sunlight and just hold it close. Thank you for being here for this story. If it moved you, please consider sharing it. Your support means the world.